Hi students, we are going to add an image to this design. So we're going to hop over to Classroom, we're going to get the mouse toy, we're going to right click it, we're going to copy it, and we're going to do a Control V for a paste into our file. Now, it looks like our cat is gone, but it is not. It just happens to be behind the mouse, and the mouse has a white background behind it, the eternal struggle of working in Photoshop. So what can we do? Well, we want to get the white background out of here. So we're going to do a Control T. We're going to make our mouse a little smaller. Alright. And I'm going to show you two different ways that we can get rid of the white. We can do what's called a color range. We're going to go up to Select, click on Color Range, and then we can click in the white. Now notice it kind of gives us this little preview. We want to adjust the fuzziness, because basically everything that's black is going to not be selected, and everything that's white is. That sounds really weird, but it'll make sense in a second. Hit OK, and we can see our familiar flashing line on the outside of the box and around the mouse itself. So if I click Delete, there goes our background. Gone. Done. Do a Control Z. Or Control D to just deselect. So when you have a solid color background, this works with any color. It could be blue, it could be green, whatever. If you use that eyedropper tool to click on it and adjust the fuzziness, it will mask out all of the color that you've selected, leaving your object intact. But I'm going to do a Control Z because I'm going to show you another way to do this, and I want you to practice it as well. Control D. If you have a background that's not a solid color, color select will not work. So we are going to hop over to the Lasso tool, and we're going to switch it over to what's called the magnetic lasso. And we are going to start, we can start here. You're going to click once and let go. You're just going to move your mouse cursor around the edge, and you're not actually freehanding it because the computer is analyzing the differences in the pixels and figuring out where that hard edge is. Now, if you mess up and you end up with an anchor point where you don't want it, you can do a few different things, and it's easy to get out of control and freak out and be like, what do? I can't get out. You can hit the escape key, which will start you over again, but that's only if you get really stuck. If you end up making an anchor point in the wrong spot and you want to back up, you just leave your cursor where it is and click delete, and it will delete the anchor points as you click delete, so you can kind of back up and then keep going. So as you get better at this, you can go faster, but definitely take your time to start out so you don't end up making too many mistakes. And we can come all the way around here. And sometimes you might want to make an anchor point, so if you click the mouse, it will create an anchor point wherever your cursor is. And just like in the regular lasso, once we get to the first anchor point that we started with and we hover, we get that familiar little line, and we can click it. Okay, so now we have our dotted selection hovering around our mouse. So in this situation, if we click delete, it's going to delete the mouse. So let's Control Z that, and we are going to do an inverse so that it selects the background, and then we can delete the background. And then Control D to deselect, and I'm going to do a Control T so that I can scale down the mouse, and we just put it right here. Okay, now there was some white that was off the shot when we did our thing, so we can actually just erase and erase. Beautiful. Now, we were doing all this work on the mouse layer, and our mouse layer was selected. And this is one of the beauties of working with layers in Photoshop. I am working with the eraser, and I am not affecting the cat because I have the layer with the mouse selected. Same thing if I have the layer with the cat selected and I do stuff. So if I want to do some erasing around this edge here, notice that the mouse stays intact because I am working with one layer at a time. Also, whichever layer is on top is going to be the layer that is visible. So by putting the mouse under the cat shows above the mouse. Okay, I'm going to switch that back. So again, just kind of a few little things about working with layers. Alright, so that's pretty much it, and I'm actually going to, last but not least, I'm actually going to merge these two layers. So I'm going to hold Shift down so I can click on both of those. Then I'm going to do a right click, and I'm going to do Merge Layers. I only do this when I'm ready to move on to the final step of working with the color, because like we said earlier, when you have individual layers, you have to adjust them individually. So now I'm going to move on to adjusting color settings for the entire graphic. I'm going to merge them all, flatten them all into one layer. That way I don't have to keep doing things to each individual layer. I can just work on one. So that's all for now. See you in the next tutorial when we work on color settings.